Hi everyone, welcome to our continuing series on the story behind the image. Today I'm going to go back in time talking about one of my nostalgic images, one of my first images that I took in this country. And this was taken on New Year's Day, probably back in 1985 or 6. And I was on the North Norfolk coast at Wells next to sea. And I'd just gone out for a nice long walk and came back, and I saw the sky and I thought, oh, this has got potential for a great sunset. The thing with the sunsets, you have to be prepared for them. When you see color like this, you can't suddenly scramble and get your camera gear and set up, because by the time you do that, it's gone. So I could recognize the cloud potential with this scene. So I went to the car, got all my gear, got my wellies on, and back in those days, I'm shooting film. So I'm shooting on a 4x5 field camera, Fuji Velvia. I mean, what fantastic colors. Isn't that fantastic? Now, trying to achieve these colors on digital today, I try very hard with my post-processing techniques, but you know, you cannot beat Fuji Velvia for colors. So the problem with this is scrambling around in the mud with, at the time I was shooting with two different formats, 4x5 and also medium format Hasselblad. So I couldn't set anything down in the mud, so I'm kind of scrambling with this stuff, working very quickly when the optimum color hit, trying to get an exposure reading off of this. So I'm exposing up in this, taking spot meter readings up in here, down in here, and balancing that exposure out in my mind. Now today, you just shoot it, check the display. Nope, that's underexposed. Let's just dial that up. It's done. Simple. It's very simple. And that's the thing, the way photography, the art of photography has changed. There is no technical aspects in photography nowadays. You don't have to think anymore about technique, about how to expose an image. And this is one aspect that I actually do miss about photography, in that you do have to think about so many different things when you're putting an image like this together. And one of this is composition. Now, working very quickly, setting up, and you don't have time to do various different shots. So you have to set your camera tripod in one spot and work that scene. So what I'm looking for in a situation like this is composing with the rule of thirds, placing the subject matter off into the side of the third of the frame. Interesting foreground. Whenever I'm shooting coastlines like this, I look for tide pools, puddles, where I can actually reflect the sky. So if it does pick up color, it's going to reflect into that pool of water down here. And the main thing is back then, I have to think, okay, I'm shooting with a very high contrast film. The shadows are going to block up. As you can see, there's not much detail in here, in here. Oddly enough, on the original film, I could actually read the name of this boat in here. But if I were shooting on digital, I would have loads of detail in here if I wanted it. Sometimes you don't really need it though. You know, you just go for the very stark contrast, graphic image of a scene like this. And so it's a matter of just setting up, composing it so that you've got this interesting shapes coming in here, and not, you don't want to cut these things off. Say if I ended my frame here, it just doesn't complete the whole edge, this nice line coming around here. So you want to keep all that. So it's kind of a circular motion, bringing your eye back up to the fishing boat. And so exposing, we talked about exposure, filtration. I don't believe I used any filtration on that at all. This was back in the days when I wasn't using grads. And on this image, I probably wouldn't need to, because I'm relying just solely on the exposing this correctly to get the detail down here in the foreground and retain the highlights in here. Well, that was a nice trip down memory lane. So on future videos, we're going to be talking about some of my more recent images. So I hope you've enjoyed that. A little bit about the technique, especially about shooting film and versus digital. You know, it is completely different. I wouldn't say it's better, it's just different. So if you've liked this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Head over to the website and subscribe to our newsletter. I'll see you again on a future video with the story behind the image.